I'm in downtown Albany to get a look at the very detailed work of artist Naomi Lewis. Let's go.
I respond to bringing order out of the chaos of the world. In my art, I feel that that's one way I am able to do it. I slow down my world by creating these pieces that are about bringing new light to the ordinary. There are collections of materials that I have that I use and refer to build networks of small elements that are then growing into a larger whole. Objects of coral, of stones, insect wings, and then abstracting that to re-envision the ordinary. So each little element is repeated and dealt with as individually, but also part of a growing network, which in some ways reflects how individuals are in a larger society. I start by lightly sketching without a total plan, and then I do layers of building on that graphite and slowly building up the surface to give it more contour, to create little nooks and hopefully create a surface that has room for the eye to move around and explore. As I gathered more and more references, I could shuffle through one and combine it with another, and going back and forth farther and farther towards pattern, and then moving in towards texture, moving out towards a macro view and moving in towards a micro perspective too. I came upon the idea of taking some of the archived materials that I have in my possession, in my collections, and using those to create large wallpaper prints. I did work for a short time in a wallpaper production facility when I was younger, and realized that the process of repeating and tiling an original is the way that wallpaper is created. I started with a piece that I found in my drawer of a cheat sheet that my son was able to bring into his calculus final exam. And it looked like a beautiful object to me of all of these elements that were combined. And I literally scanned it to scale and used it as the background, and then created a drawn element that I added to the surface to contrast, to juxtapose, and to flesh out the concept of what you might want on your wall. I also work in cut paper. I began when the insects of the wallpaper appeared, the spiders, thinking that maybe I would use an accumulation of spiders as my organic element, and did some cut paper pieces that arranged the spiders in a circular pattern that created a web. What I do is draw the positive space and cut out the negative space. So it is a tedious process. It's very slow. I use an X-Acto knife on mulberry paper, and I work on this process that I find slows down time for me and is very meditative and counters the frenetic pace of our contemporary life. The process of working is the important part for me. The finished product doesn't matter as much as getting in here and continuing the journey not knowing where it will take me.